Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home. In today's video, we're going to talk about some really exciting 4K Blu-ray and standard Blu-ray releases that are headed your way this holiday season. So today I want to cover, and I do this from time to time, I want to cover some 4K releases that are coming up and things that have been recently announced, and give you some details on what you can expect here. Most of this stuff in this video, actually all the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video, will be available before Christmas and will be available in the month of December. So there's some great gift ideas here for people, but also something to keep an eye out. This is going to be post Black Friday, so these are not going to be going on sale. They're going to be coming out in December, probably at full price, but there's a ton of great stuff coming out. So stay tuned through the whole video to get all of them. But the biggest news right off the top here that I have to get to is the fact that Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, both trilogies, have been confirmed for 4K. Hallelujah! They're going to be releasing on December 1st. In some countries, it looks like maybe December 3rd. There were some pre-order dates up on a German website. But in the US, Best Buy posted December 1st as the release date. They have two different sets. Both of them are Steelbook sets. So there's the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy Steelbook 4K releases. They're a little pricey right now. The pre-order price is $120 for each trilogy. So you're looking at almost, $250 plus with tax to buy both of those. But we'll see if that pricing changes, or if there is a complete like 6-film set announced for, something like $150, $170, something in the middle. And Best Buy is also doing those Steelbooks, so we're still waiting to hear what other retailers like Target, Walmart, Amazon, what they'll have available and what the standard edition will be. So that price may come down, but it's very exciting news. We're finally getting them. There were some thoughts back in the summer that this might get delayed until 2021, but it looks like Warner Brothers is sneaking them in here before the end of the year, and they're going to come out in perfect time for the holidays. It would make a great gift for somebody who's a collector, a Lord of the Rings fan, Hobbit fan, but I'm just excited because those Lord of the Rings movies have potential to look absolutely incredible on 4K, and I'm really curious what they're going to do with the Hobbit movies, which were filmed at that weird frame rate, 48 frames per second, and see if we get 3D 48 frame per second transfers, if they just do 24 frames per second, what they do with those movies, because there's a lot of interesting stuff that can be done with 4K. We've seen different frame rates be played with movies like Gemini Man and Billy Lynn's Halftime Walk. So we'll see what happens, but either way, it's exciting news for 4K that we're getting all 6 of those movies. And when I have more details, I'll share them. But right now, I just know pricing, I know dates, and I just have the artwork on those Best Buy Steelbooks. But either way, it's confirmed, which is exciting news. Now, December 1st, if you're a physical media and 4K collector, you're gonna really need to save for December 1st because it is a huge day for 4K and Blu-ray releases. Now, as well as the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogy, on December 1st, we are getting multiple 4K releases of other titles. Kicking things off, we're getting Chernobyl, which is the 4K release of the excellent HBO miniseries. If you haven't seen it yet, it should look absolutely fantastic on 4K. It's an amazing show. It won all kinds of awards and it deserved them. It is really well done, and HBO typically does a good job with their 4K transfers and is really the only TV provider out of FX, HBO, Stars, Showtime, AMC, any of those premium cable channels that have really popular shows. They're really the only ones that have adopted 4K, so it's exciting to see them continue with that. On that day, you're also going to be able to grab Beverly Hills Cop in 4K, as well as Coming to America on 4K Steelbook. Those are a little, Coming to America is a good one. Beverly Hills Cop, that one's a little disappointing because they just put out a 4K transfer Blu-ray 1080p a couple months ago, and now Paramount's releasing a 4K release. So if you just bought that, you're probably going to feel a little bit burnt. Really interesting why they didn't just go with the 4K to start with, but we are getting that on December 1st. Now also on December 1st, we're getting Blade on 4K, so that could be a really interesting title that has some potential to be really good. It also has potential to be really poor, so I'm really excited to see what the transfer looks like on that. There's a lot of interesting things going on with that movie, just visually, that could either make or break it on 4K. But if you're a Blade fan, they're putting that out on 4K. There's rumors that, you know, Blade is going to start making appearances in some other movies down the road here in the Marvel universe. We'll see what happens. That could be why they're putting this out in 4K now, to try to promote that character. But either way, it will be available on December 1st, and that's another new release to 4K from the back catalog. So we always like those. Now next up, you go a week later to December 8th. We have two very interesting titles coming out on December 8th. One being a 4K and one being a standard Blu-ray, which I think could be one of the most interesting movie releases that's come out in a long time to physical media. Starting with the 4K, we're getting They Live, the John Carpenter classic, which has become sort of, it's definitely gained cult status over the years. It's not as well known as Halloween or The Thing or even some of John Carpenter's other horror movies, Mouth of Madness, Vampires, The Fog, but They Live definitely gained a bit of a cult status. It's you definitely would know it from internet memes and things. The Obey meme that was going around, a few years back. It's inspired a lot of things in pop culture, and so it's a very good movie. I really enjoy it. And this is Scream Factory's first 4K release. So Shout Factory has done some 4K with documentaries. They did The Deer Hunter. They've been messing with 4K, but this is the first Scream Factory horror movie in 4K. So they're really picking up steam with They Live. And if Scream Factory still has access to a lot of their other 4K transfers out there, they could be doing things like The Thing, or they could be covering a Halloween 2 or a Halloween 3, some of the Wes Craven movies. They have such a massive catalog. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels, you name it, all those 80s B horror movies that they have, Sleepaway Camp. Like, if they start diving into that, you could see a lot of 4K releases come out of it. We'll see how the sales on They Live do, but if those are solid, I bet that you'll see Scream Factory put out more 4K content, which is only a good thing for us collectors. And now the Blu-ray release on December 8th that's really interesting and really piqued my interest is a re-release in a new edit of The Godfather 3. They're calling it The Godfather 3 Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. And basically Francis Ford Coppola has gone back in and re-edited and changed the movie to really show his his intentions. He has basically created this director's cut of the movie and has completely redone it with no interference from studio heads. He was able to get permission to go back in, re-edit it as he wanted it to be seen. So that could be really interesting because obviously Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 are some of the absolute all-time classic best movies, critically acclaimed, best movies ever made. They're in the top 10. And Godfather 3 to a lot of people was very disappointing. So it was still nominated, still got critical acclaim, but it definitely doesn't have the status of 1 and 2. So we'll see here, but this is actually getting a Blu-ray release, which is, I love when they do this. They did this most recently, as far as I remember, with Halloween 6, when they put out the producer's cut, which essentially changed that entire movie and storyline with, footage that never got used in the original Halloween 6. And I thought that was really interesting because, I'm not a fan of editing movies like Star Wars and all the CGI edits and changes to the originals, but as long as we can maintain the original movie and keep that, I don't mind producers and directors' cuts and them taking a second look at the movie and creating a new piece, just as long as we don't destroy the original. So I think it's a really interesting idea. Paramount's putting it out, and I did ask when they released this if there's maybe plans for a Godfather 4K set. And I basically got kind of like a nothing at this time, stay tuned type of message. So we'll see. I think that this points towards good things for the Godfather 4K. I do think that's eventually coming, but probably next year. But anyway, this Godfather 3, The Death of Michael Corleone, this new cut is going to be really interesting if you're a Godfather fan, or just a movie fan in general, to see a different version of that film. And then last but not least, on December 15th, we've got Tremors on 4K coming from Arrow Video. I'm really excited to see what they do with Tremors, because if you know from my reviews, I checked out Pitch Black and Flash Gordon in 4K from Arrow Video, which were their first two 4K releases, and those were both excellent. I really, really liked them. Flash Gordon was a revelation for HDR for me. I thought that was incredibly well done. And so I'm really looking forward to Tremors. It is interesting that Arrow seems to be dipping into Universal's back catalog here and taking some of those titles to 4K. I'm sure we will see more of that, not just Universal, but other studios like the Paramount, Lionsgate, Sony's, maybe even the Disney Fox catalog, selling the rights to the 4K to an Arrow, a Shout Factory, an Olive Films, a Kino Lorber, selling it off to those guys, and letting them do the 4K transfer and just licensing it out to them, because that may be the way that we start to see more back catalogs. They're going to let these boutique Blu-ray 4K distributors who have a good following in physical media communities and know that they can get the sales on these titles, they'll let them do the transfer, let them do the remaster, let them do all the work that they're so great at, put the packaging together, give us a really nice release for collectors, and then everyone's happy. So that's it for this update. That gives you an idea of some of the big major titles that are coming up 4K and Blu-ray in the next 2 months as we get into the end of the year. I previously covered a lot of stuff that was coming out in October and even into November in a video over the summer, so you can go find that if you want an update on those titles. But things like Back to the Future is coming out very soon, and I will be reviewing that. There's more Blue Underground titles coming out. Lots of great 4K still in the works. So it feels like this community is definitely helping drive this, and the way we are supporting physical media by you watching my videos and sharing my videos and interacting on social media, and we're spreading the word, and we're just seeing more and more 4K releases. Even though it's not the biggest seller, the studios clearly still see a value there, and that's a really good thing for us collectors. So I appreciate all the support, and please continue it so that they keep seeing videos like this and they keep pushing out those 4K releases, because they know there's a market for them, and they know that we are all about it, and we want to buy those high quality physical media releases. So anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, have your notifications on, and like the video so others will see this. That helps spread the good word about 4K and physical media. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I will leave pre-order links for all of these titles on Amazon as they become available. Right now I don't have links for a few of them because they're just not listed yet, but I will update this video. If you do pre-order or order through any of my Amazon links on my channel or on my community page, that helps support me, so that's a great way to support passively. And otherwise, just keep supporting me with all your interactions, comments, likes. I really appreciate all the views and everybody out there who's subscribed. We're very close to 50K, which is amazing. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Looking forward to some awesome 4K here in December, and I'll talk to you guys soon.